Along with the Doors Floor 2 update, not only did we get many new mysteries that have been formed with the addition of secrets and Easter eggs, but there's a lot to talk about within the Doors community regarding about major possibilities and connections that we can make compared to the previous builds of the game. Well, these are 7 secret theories of Doors Floor 2. What's your theory? Like and subscribe, or else you will never be a Doors pro. Number 1, Dead Screech. Everything within the mines seems mysterious, and especially at door 150, you will notice a ton of these piles of Screech within the ground, which gives us some weird vibes. We did mention in previous videos that it's very interesting to see the Screech entity and the Giggle entities being both very similar to each other on almost all counts. But if we do inspect the pile of Screech closer, we can notice that there are actually broken models of Screech, with some having their mouths completely ripped apart. So that leads to the question, why are there so many piles of Screech being littered all around door 150? Well, with the logic that Seek infects the Queen Grumble at the ending cutscene of floor 2 and infecting other players who fail within the Seek chase, many are noting that since Screech is also covered with the same Seek slime, the entity may actually have already been infected by Seek, and due to the similarities between Screech and Giggle, perhaps Screeches are actually the negative entity here trying to infect other Giggles and converting them into Screeches. As we know, Giggles can mature into Grumbles according to the guiding light, so they need some type of defense in order to protect the family tree. The piles of them that we could see around the nesting area were more than likely defended off by the patrolled Grumbles who roam the nest in order to protect their queen from being infected, and thus resulting in a ton of these piles of Screeches being withered away throughout the nest. Number 2, Grumble System. The next one will be interesting. According to the guiding light, we do know that there is a Queen Grumble within the family tree, but as you know, there are really interesting theories about how everything works, especially according to the Doors wiki page. They did state that Grumbles do work similarly to an ant colony. There's a Queen Grumble in the middle, and along with drone workers or regular Grumbles that work alongside, and it's likely that the Queen mates with the other Grumbles in order to reproduce to make Giggles. It explains why there's so many Giggle around the surrounding areas of the mines, and all they have to do is keep Seek and Screech away to prevent the altercation of the family tree in order to survive. Number 3, Infected Queen. Well, as we've seen, the patrol Grumbles within the nest did ultimately fail to protect their queen, especially as within the ending, Seek does infect the Queen Grumble, and this does lead into some pretty major theories, one of which being, what would the queen look like if it was infected as slime? Well, Hemo465 from the Discord server did draw a good sketch. They ended up doing a quick sketch of what the infected Queen Grumble could look like, especially in floor 3, and you can also notice Seek on top of the entity being able to control her at will. We may have to face the infected Queen Grumble as a major boss, but it's unclear whether or not we may face the duo at either door 250 or possibly as a final boss at door 300. In the past, we've only usually had to deal with one single main boss entity during the big sections of the game, but with this duo and dealing with 2 at the same time, it is projected to be very difficult to get past. Number 4, Dreaming. This one's crazy, but it does connect the pedestal secret message along with the whole entire game. Now, hear me out. Going back to the courtyard and reading the Wingding secret pedestal message does give us the term limbo, which we know means that there's no reality. It means that we are actually not dead nor alive and stuck with an endless loop of death, restarting and reviving every time we pass away. Essentially, that is what Doors kind of is, but check this out. If you take a look towards the sky within the ending, you will notice some particles way off in the distance. These are the same particles that also appear within the main lobby of the whole entire game, and they do signify a change within the time rift continuum. And if that's actually true, that means the limbo reference from the courtyard could actually be applied to the game itself as being in constant limbo, meaning that everything that is happening within the game is not reality and is in an endless cycle. Sort of feels like a bad dream or something like that. Number 5, figure. As if you noticed, there are a ton of piles of a substance basically labeled festering meat within Roblox Doors. There is a ton of them within floor 1 of the game and also within floor 2 of the mines as well. This meat substance usually only spawns nearly or inside locations where the figure resides and at the very end of the game. Players have noticed many more piles of festering meat right outside of the castle. This is a big theory that figure may actually come to floor 3, but it is uncertain whether or not his mechanics will be the exact same once again. Number 6, the mines. With the whole new floor being added to the game, it really makes you wonder why exactly does Doors go from floor 1 within a hotel to a giant mining cave underground. With all of these leftover equipment, it does present one major theory. We've explained that perhaps the hotel was created in order to host guests and workers who are prepared to work deep within the mines, possibly trying to mine gold and other resources. Gold is a major resource within the game, especially as entities such as Jeff do take the currency with a big smile. Everything was going well for the whole mining project until something happened. Perhaps the Seek entity did make an appearance and ended up scaring all the workers away. Unfortunately, some may not have been as lucky as we can clearly see within the game, but it does bring an interesting idea of why the mines are here in the first place. Number 7, anchors. Within door 150, of course players have to travel to the anchors in order to power up the drawbridge to continue onto the mines. But as you know, why is there even anchors there in the first place? And also, why was the bridge in the up position? It's like someone had the bridge up in the first place as a defense against something. Well, going back to the whole Queen Grumble Patrol Grumble System theory, Tad SLJ did have an amazing theory based on why they are within the game. Those workers that we talked about digging for gold and whatnot, they may have built this bridge in order to help transport materials and stashes of resources outside of the mine, and the anchor points were created as a type of self-defense system in order to protect themselves from entities such as Seek. Obviously, a bridge is no way going to stop Seek in any way, so the workers ended up abandoning the place, leaving behind everything, and also leaving the bridge up in order to help slow down any entities trying to chase them. Meanwhile, the Queen Grumble and their patrols ended up discovering the nesting area and building it as their own breeding grounds. Pretty massive theory, but it does make sense. But let us know what some of your theories are in the comments below. Like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.